Today, we are cracking open a book that is without a doubt one of the most requested, most controversial, and frankly, most influential books on strategy ever written, Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Is it a practical guide for the ambitious, or is it a dark, cynical roadmap to human manipulation? Well, wherever you land, its impact is absolutely undeniable, and we're about to see why. Now, trying to tackle all 48 laws in one go, that would be a lot. So for this explainer, we're going to zoom in and really dissect the first 8. You can think of these as the foundational principles, right? The essential first steps on that ladder of power. We'll spend about a minute on each one, digging into what it really means and looking at some wild examples from history.
Okay, let's get into it. We've broken these first 8 laws down into 3 big themes. First up, we'll talk about navigating superiors and peers. Then, we're going to move into guarding your image, which is all about the power of perception. And finally, we'll see how those ideas build up to the main event, wielding influence.
So our first section, navigating superiors and peers. This is really about the first battlefield anyone encounters when they're trying to gain some influence. You know, these first couple of laws aren't about big, dramatic power grabs. They're about the subtle, tricky dance of managing your relationships, both with the people above you and the people right there beside you.
Which brings us right to law number 1, never outshine the master.
This might be the most important rule in the entire book, and it's probably the one that people break the most often. The idea seems backward at first, but it's simple. Your job is to make your boss feel smart, strong, and secure. If you're too talented, too charming, or too good at your job, you don't inspire them, you threaten them, you create insecurity, and suddenly you're not an asset anymore, you're a problem for their ego. That is a very dangerous place to be.
And for a perfect, if tragic example of this, let's go back to the year 1500. The infamous Caesar Borgia conquers a city and spares its young prince, a guy named Astorium Manfredi. Now, Manfredi was the total package, handsome, talented, and beloved by his people. Borgia thought he could use him, but there was one big problem. Manfredi couldn't help but shine. His natural charisma just completely overshadowed the insecure Borgia. And for a master like Borgia, that was a deal-breaker. Manfredi's brilliance wasn't an asset, it was an insult. And ultimately, that brilliance got him killed.
Okay, on to law number 2, and this one really pushes back on everything we're taught about loyalty. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.
The logic here is ice cold, but it makes a certain kind of sense. Greene's argument is that friends are dangerous in the world of power. They get comfortable, they expect favors, and worst of all, they're easily overcome by envy. An enemy, though? If you bring a former enemy over to your side, they have everything to prove. They're grateful for the chance, and they'll work harder to show their loyalty because they have no illusions about your relationship. It's a cynical take, for sure, but a powerful one.
You know, the philosopher Voltaire really nailed this feeling when he said, "Lord, protect me from my friends. I can take care of my enemies." It's that betrayal from someone you trust, the one you never saw coming, that really does the most damage.
And if you want a textbook case study, just look at the tragic story of the Byzantine Emperor Michael III. He absolutely adored his best friend, a stable boy named Basilius. He literally raised him from nothing, gave him money, power, even made him a co-emperor. But every gift Michael gave him just fueled Basilius's ambition and envy. He started to hate the very man who gave him everything. In the end, that trust was a fatal error. Basilius had Michael assassinated and took the throne for himself. A brutal, brutal lesson.
So we've talked about handling people. Now we're shifting gears to our second theme, guarding your image. Because once you understand relationships, the game moves to the battlefield of perception. It's not just about what you do, it's about what people think you're doing.
And that leads us directly to law number 3, a masterclass in misdirection, conceal your intentions.
Think of it like a game of chess. If you tell your opponent what your strategy is, they're going to shut you down immediately. Well, power works the exact same way. By hiding your real goal, by using decoys and red herrings, you keep everyone else guessing. They can't defend against a move they never see coming. It forces them to always be reacting to you, which puts you in complete control.
And a true master of this was Haile Selassie, the future emperor of Ethiopia. Back in the 1920s, all the other warlords just saw him as this quiet, harmless nobleman. He played the part perfectly, always talking about progressive reforms and modernizing the country. But that was all the smokescreen. Behind the scenes, he was ruthlessly building up his power base, making alliances, and taking his rivals out one by one. By the time they realized his true goal wasn't reform, but absolute power,
it was already too late. He was the emperor.
From hiding your actions, we move to hiding your thoughts with law number 4. Always say less than necessary.
And this slide really lays it out perfectly. When you talk too much, you just seem ordinary. You risk saying something dumb or giving away your plans. But when you hold back, when you're silent, your words have so much more weight. Your silence makes other people nervous, and they'll rush to fill that silence, often revealing their own secrets. You seem powerful and mysterious because nobody can figure you out.
Law number 5 takes this idea of image to a whole new level. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Basically, your reputation is everything. It's the cornerstone of your power. It walks into the room before you do, and it can win you battles without you even having to fight.
And this story is just incredible. It shows you how reputation alone can be an unstoppable weapon. During China's famous War of the Three Kingdoms, a brilliant general named Zhuge Liang was trapped in a small town with just a handful of soldiers, and an enemy army of 150,000 was on its way. Hopeless, right? But instead of panicking, he did something crazy. He ordered the gates to be thrown wide open, and he sat on top of the wall, just calmly playing his lute. When the enemy general, Sima Yi, showed up, he was completely baffled. He knew Zhuge Liang was a master of traps and deception. The scene was so bold, so strange, he was convinced it was an ambush. He ordered a full retreat. Zhuge Liang's reputation single-handedly won the battle.
All right, law number 6 might sound like it contradicts that whole say less thing. It's court attention at all cost.
But this isn't about being loud. It's about being seen. In the world of power, being ignored is like being invisible. It's a form of death. Greene says it's actually better to be attacked or gossiped about than to be ignored completely. You have to stand out from the crowd. Whether you do that by being brilliant, mysterious, or even a little scandalous, the goal is the same. Get people's attention and don't let it go.
Okay, let's head into our final section, wielding influence. This is where everything we've talked about, relationships, perception, comes together for the ultimate goal, getting other people to do your bidding. Which leads us to law number 7, and this is probably one of the most ruthless laws in the whole book. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit.
The playbook here is brutally effective. Step 1, you find talented people. Step 2, you use their hard work and their great ideas. Step 3, and this is the crucial part, you put your name on it. This creates what Greene calls the genius illusion. You look like you can do it all, like a whirlwind of efficiency and talent, while the people who actually did the work are completely forgotten.
You just can't talk about this law without bringing up the famous rivalry between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. Tesla was, by many accounts, the more visionary genius, but he worked for Edison. And while Tesla was having these incredible breakthroughs, it was Edison who understood the power of patents, publicity, and taking all the credit. Edison built an empire by putting his brand on the work of brilliant minds like Tesla. And the result? Edison is remembered as a great American inventor, while Tesla, the guy behind so many of those ideas, was forgotten for decades.
And for our final law in this explainer, law number 8, make other people come to you, use bait if necessary.
This is all about controlling the dynamic. See, the person who is forced to react is always in the weaker position. The person who makes others react holds all the cards. The key is to dangle some kind of irresistible bait, the promise of money, a solution to a problem, whatever it is. When they move toward your bait, they're playing your game on your turf. You make them come to you. So there you have it, the first 8 laws of power. From managing the people around you, to controlling your image, to making others into your instruments. These are principles pulled from some of the most ruthless moments in history, but they're just as alive today, in our offices, in politics, everywhere. Which leaves us with one final question for you. Now that you know them, which of these laws do you suddenly see at play all around you? The answers might be closer than you think.